What's up, YouTube? Jay Lee here. Another Northwest podcast. What it do, what it is, how's it going, what's up? So, recently, we got a nice little sunset here in South Seattle. Wow, all right. Recently, I saw some pictures of one of my exes that I dated 2012. I dated her in 2012. She was one of the worst ones. She was the one who propelled me to be red pill mostly, but the one after her solidified me being red pill and almost causing me to go full MGTOW. But this one, I dated her in 2012. Little skank, little slut, and you know that's my mistake for dating a slut. But she had nice titties, really nice titties. She was on the chubby side, but you know she had a nice thick ass, and you know how we do as men, we're visual. So you know we had that kind of a relationship. We smoked a lot of weed, had a lot of sex, and it was that kind of relationship, right? And I eventually caught feelings for her, as you do if you don't take my advice and only date a girl for 6 months. You date a girl longer than 6 months, even that, I would say between 3 and 6 months. You date a girl between longer than 3 or 6 months, you're probably going to catch feelings, because the longer you spend time with somebody, the more you start to like them and the more you're familiar with them. That's just what it is. People say familiarity breeds contempt. I don't know. I think it's kind of the opposite. I think, yeah, if you don't have a good chemistry with somebody, you don't like them, and the longer you spend with them, you're going to be extremely contemptful. But if you guys get along, the chemistry is decent, the sex is great, you're going to start to catch feelings, man. It's just what it is. And that's what happened with me. So dated her for about 6 months, or excuse me, I dated her for a year. And yeah, a year, and about, I'd say 6 months in, she started pulling some bullshit. She started just kind of trying to pull some power trips on me here and there. She didn't, because this is what girls do, and this is what I got good at when I was younger, was I learned how to, and I can still do it if I wanted to, I learned how to use relationships as like a lure to get sex. Someone used to say men use relationships to get sex, women use sex to get relationships. And I figured out how to like play the game, and I totally lied to her. I was actually in college when I met her, but I told her, and I was living at home. I was living with my mom in a condo. She came over. My friend brought her over one night when my mom was gone, and we smoked some weed or whatever and chilled in my condo, and I told her it was my condo, and they were like, what? That's kind of weird, because it wasn't like furnished like a guy. It wasn't like a female either. It wasn't really like a guy's condo, and like, so, but I told her it was mine, and she's like, oh, what do you do? And I told her I had like, I ran like an online t-shirt business, and I was pretty successful and all this bullshit. I was in college, actually. I was just taking courses at a local college. I totally, it was a total lie. She believed me. It was enough for me to get in her pants, and like, it is what it is. I don't give a shit. Like, why would you know, people say, oh, you're a liar, like, okay, like, it's not like women don't lie every time they put makeup on. Like, it's not like they don't lie whenever they, you know, put themselves in certain clothes and hide their fat and shit. So it's like, you know, who gives a fuck? But that's what happened. Started sleeping with her, and about 6 months in, she started pulling some bullshit, and like, she felt I didn't call her enough, and oh yeah, she said, oh, you never take me on dates. How come you don't take me on dates? And I'm like, bitch, because I'm already getting the milk for free. Why do I need to buy the cow when I'm getting the milk for free? What are you talking about? Like, I'm calling myself your boyfriend. That's good enough. I'm not going to fucking take you on dates. So she wanted me to, like, kind of, you know, splurge on her or make her feel special or some bullshit. And like, I'm just like, fuck no. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, you're giving me pussy. If I start putting you on a pedestal, I knew too at the time, and I made this mistake before and after this particular relationship. You put a girl on a pedestal in a relationship, she's gonna walk all over you. She's gonna So really it was probably her just trying to beta-ize me and see if she could, but she made this whole like campaign against me that like, you don't ever take me on dates, and she got her girlfriends involved and shit, and like, you know, she tried to test me a bunch of times, like, oh, can I go out to the club with my girlfriends? And like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I never tell you can't do anything. Like, you can do what the fuck you want to do. Now, that's always been my attitude with girls, and it's always why they fucking can't get enough of me, because I don't give a shit, right? And I've had so many relationships like that where it's like, I just don't give a shit. And she's trying to test me left and right. Like, oh, can I go out to the club? You know, trying to make me jealous. Can I go out to the club with my girls and stuff? And then meanwhile, like when I would like, my sister used to go to school in Pullman, WSU, and I would go visit my sister while I was dating this girl. And she's like, she would always get jealous and like, don't you hook up with any WSU girls and woo woo. And I actually did a couple times, but you know, it's just like, it's like, you don't own me, and I clearly don't give a shit what you do. Like, yeah, sure, I'm calling myself your boyfriend or whatever, but that's just bottom line. Like, I'll do that to keep you around, you know, because I don't care, because you're a slut, because you haven't earned anything. You know, every time we hang out, you suck my dick, swallow my kids, you got a nice fat ass, like, that's about it. Like, that's, like, you're not bringing anything more to the table. You don't have any morals, you're not wholesome, you don't have any values, I can tell. Like, I know your personality. Like, I don't really want much more from you besides sex. Now, here's how this girl got me to have feelings for her, and she successfully did it, and I'll give her that, right? She told me she was pregnant. So first of all, she started doing all this testing, right? She started like saying, oh, do you care if I go to the club and woo woo woo, and like, do you know this, that, and like, no, I don't care, like, you know, go to the club, you know, I don't give a shit, right? So she was testing me there. Then she would like cry and whine and test and see if I'd break down when she says, oh, you know, I want you to take me on dates, and I want you to do this, and you never do that. And she's crying and stuff to her girlfriends about how I treat her bad, and so all of a sudden she's the victim now, and this is what girls will do to get attention. Oh, she's the victim now, and I'm not a simp where I splurge on her and take her out and this, that, and the third, right? So she did that shit, and it was unsuccessful, didn't move me. So she came up with a diabolical plan, and she told me she was pregnant, right? Told me she was pregnant. She dropped the prego bomb on me. Oh, you know what? I'm pregnant. Oops. I'm like, oh shit. And it totally caught me off guard. Like, she knew my weakness. Girls will probe you to find your weakness, and they will find it, man. I'm telling you. This is why I'm saying 3 to 6 months. Anything longer than that, you're gonna get fucked. Because the first 3 to 6 months, she's loving the dick. She's loving how good you are in bed. She's excited with, you know, when you take her out and fuck her at the park, when you do all this fun, kinky shit with her. It's super exciting. Once that wears off, warning, warning, she is gonna come for you. She's gonna come for your neck in one way or the other, and she's gonna probe for weakness. It's just like that. You guys seen that movie Jurassic Park, when the raptors are like probing the cage, looking for weaknesses in the security system so they can break through? That's like what girls do, man. They probe you, they look for your weakness, and they'll fucking find it, man. This is why you cannot catch feelings for a girl. If you catch feelings for a girl, or you be too available, or you put your cards on the table, she's gonna jujitsu that shit into her favor, right? And I've done this several times where I've actually, once you catch feelings for a girl, she is going to screw you over, and she knows it. She knows she has the power once that happens. This is why in Rollo Tomasi's book, he talks about always be on your purpose. Never put her on the pedestal. She's not the focus of your life, right? And it's good advice, but it's not something that I would ever want to imply, because why would I want to have a relationship where I can never show affection to my girl, or I can never, like, you know, really be honest with how my heart feels about her, really tell her that I really love her so much. And I want to be able to put my girl on a pedestal, quote unquote, in a way, right? In a way, like, if I love her, I'm gonna want to, like, show my affection, and I'm not gonna want to, like, oh, I've always got to play that game. But if you don't love her and you just want or you just want sex and you just want to give her your dick, you can just play the game. Like, just don't catch feelings. Like, and that's why I'm saying 3 to 6 months, because anything after that, the more familiar you are with her, you're gonna catch feelings, right? So here's what she did. She told me she was pregnant, and the whole thing was a lie. She was not pregnant, right? She was not, and I didn't find out until like 6 months or a year later after the relationship was over. She told me she was pregnant, and it hit me off guard because I never expected that. Like, I never encountered liars that bad. I've never encountered that bad of a liar. I just didn't expect it, man. And told me she was pregnant. I was like, okay, well, you know, it took me about a week to like get over the shock because I didn't really want a kid. I didn't love this girl, but once she told me, and she's like, it's a little girl, and I was like, whoa, like, and I just was taken aback. And something happened within my heart, in my inner being, and I didn't realize what this was at the time. But it was affection. And what happened was I started to like have this kind of fatherly affection. I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna be a father. And it was actually kind of exciting in a way, even though like this girl, I didn't want her at all. Like, I didn't love her at the time. And then I was like, okay, well, let me go to the doctor with you on your next checkup. I want to make sure the baby's okay. And she's like, no, you can't. And I found out later, she said, no, you can't, because there was no baby. But she's like, I don't want you making any decisions with this baby. And I was like, well, what do you mean? That's my baby. I don't know what you're talking about. You can't just not let me make decisions about my baby. And she's like, oh yes, I can. In fact, I might even have an abortion. And I was like, what? And I was like crushed. I was floored. I was like, you can't just kill my baby. And she goes, oh yes, I can, because I have 100% say and right over the life of this child because it's in my belly. And it turns out she's true. It turns out that's true. She was right. She has 100%, she could kill my baby and I have no say. And this is when I first found out about that fucked up law that women have 100% right over the life of the child. And it made me feel just absolutely sick, man. I never felt this sick in my life. And I was just like, what the fuck? How could you kill my kid and I can't even say anything? Like, that's my kid. I don't know the kid. It's not born yet, but I'm having some kind of fatherly feelings for it, and I think it's love for my child. Like, something got stirred up within me, and